guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you're seeing this video, that means I've already had my baby Annabelle and I'm pre-recording this. I'm actually 39 weeks pre-recording this. So if you're wondering why I have a bump, not that you can really see it, but that is why. But in today's video, I wanted to do 10 things no one tells you about pregnancy. And I know people make these videos, but every time I watch them, I swear the stuff is like so no-brainer. They talk about cravings, they talk about exhaustion. Well, I wanted to talk about 10 things that no one literally told me. I didn't read this online. I barely knew anything about it. The only time I really experienced these things and heard about them was when I was going through it and I had to look them up just to make sure I was normal and everything was functioning properly. I also wanted to make this video because a ton of my friends have no idea. They've never been pregnant. They've never heard of these things. I just know there's a ton of women out there like I was before who had no idea about these things. So yeah, I just want to forewarn you that some of this stuff is TMI, but if you're a woman, you're going to experience this most likely if you have a baby. So let's go ahead and get into the 10 things. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is morning sickness and maybe a little bit of depression. Depression I feel like is a really strong word, so I don't want to just throw that out there saying I was depressed or that you might get depressed when you get pregnant, because it is a very happy experience. But personally for me, I wasn't trying to get pregnant with my husband, so it was kind of like a shocker at first. And in my experience, now this isn't everybody, but in my experience I had really bad morning sickness. I lost I think like 7 or 10 pounds or something in my first trimester. When you lose that much weight and you basically cannot keep anything down, it starts to just make you go kind of crazy in the head. So if you're in this stage and you feel like you're, I don't know, alone and that no one else goes through this, it is totally normal, at least talking to my doctor and going through it, it's totally normal to just feel slightly sad because you don't feel like yourself. You're throwing up all day long. It's definitely not a morning thing. It could last, at least for me, morning to night, and then you wake up the next morning and you go through it again. You're nauseous when your head hits the pillow and you're nauseous when you're awake and you're exhausted. So yeah, that is something no one told me. I thought morning sickness was like a fun little thing where you throw up in the morning. Not that it's fun, but it's fun compared to what I went through. And I had no idea that it could make me honestly feel sad and just my hormones were going crazy. So that is something no one told me. Second thing that no one really told me is the change in the relationship between you and your spouse, or you and your husband, your partner, or whatever. Now I'm not saying this is a change for the bad. It actually was a change for the good, and it was just a change in general, because when you're adjusting to your new body and the hormones that are raging through it and all of the symptoms that you're going through, it's a lot to handle on your own, and it's still a lot to handle even with your partner. At first I seriously did not know who to turn to, because obviously my husband Doug has no idea what I'm going through, and it can just kind of create like a distance a little bit, because as much as they're there for you and as much as they support you, they have no idea what you're going through. So yeah, I can put a strain on things, but luckily for me, it kind of like, I don't know, that strain and that just sadness that I was going through in my first trimester as far as like dealing with morning sickness and all these hormones, it went away by the second, or I guess in the middle of my second trimester, and I'm back to being completely normal and having a normal relationship. But at first it was definitely a change. The third thing is that anxiety is real in pregnancy, and this is something that I was never told, and honestly I probably could have assumed that you might be anxious in your pregnancy, but watching movies, I had no idea about pregnancy and like pregnant women and what they go through, but growing up watching movies, seeing pregnant women, I don't know, at the mall or just talking to them, they always look so happy. They have this quote unquote glow. They're just always uplifting. They're growing a life inside. They're so excited. They're buying things. And then when I got pregnant, I was like, why is none of this real? Like all I feel is anxiety and stress and just hormonal changes. So something that I did not know is that anxiety is real in your pregnancy, just on a bunch of different levels. The first thing I was anxious about right from the start was obviously dealing with morning sickness. The second thing I was anxious about is the tests that they basically put you through during your pregnancy. There are a lot of tests that they give now that say back when my mom was having me and when she was pregnant, she did not have to go through. Sometimes I feel like knowledge isn't always better, just because you can overanalyze things, especially with the internet. You go online, you read on forums, and you see that you have a pregnancy symptom that meant something different for someone else, and you just have to take everything with a grain of salt. But basically just being bombarded with all of this knowledge about what other people go through during their pregnancies and the negative outcomes can just make you stressed out and just can cause anxiety. The other thing is you're literally growing a life inside you. Like, how could you not be anxious? I was anxious about the food I ate, whether laying on my left side was right, on my right side was okay. the creams I put on my skin. Should I be wearing makeup? Should I be doing this? And at a certain point, I just had to realize that I need to ask my doctor instead of looking things up online. The fourth thing that no one really explained to me is the weird aches and pains that you have. And that may seem simple, that may seem like something that is easy to deal with and that you can cope with, but sometimes the weird aches and pains, I didn't know what they were, and I still never found out what they were. So for instance, in my second trimester, I think I had like a round ligament pain, which I thought was a round ligament pain, but I basically could not get out of my bed for literally 24 hours. I had to call the emergency room, call my doctor because I couldn't move from my side. I still don't even know what that pain was, but some of the pains that you get in your pregnancy can be the worst pains, I mean, at least for me, that I've ever experienced in my life. So it is crazy how such a small life inside you can just press, I don't know, an elbow or a foot against one particular nerve that can send your whole body into a spasm. It is insane. The fifth thing that no one told me that I seriously had no idea about, honestly, I just realized this about a month ago that this actually happens to people, and that it's your boobs leak during your third trimester and sometimes even your second and sometimes even your first. It actually started for me in my third trimester. I like wiped against my boob like while I was, I don't know, getting ready or something, and I was like, oh, that's weird, I'm not drinking any water, there's no liquid around me. Then I looked down and realized my boobs were producing, I don't know, colostrum or milk or whatever it was, but basically your body is just so powerful that it's gearing up to have a baby that your boobs can start to leak something, I don't know what, and that is just insane to me. The sixth thing that I was not aware of until my third trimester is that everybody basically told me that you're just gonna want to eat everything in sight throughout your entire pregnancy, you're gonna gain a bunch of weight, you're gonna crave things that you've never craved before. And while all of that stuff is pretty much true, something that people never told me was that I was gonna eat a ton, specifically in my third trimester. In my first, well, obviously in my first trimester, I was very sick and I just craved the weirdest stuff like Swedish meatball lean cuisines, don't ask me why. And then in my second trimester, I was still kind of getting over the morning sickness and I would just crave Subway sandwiches. I wasn't necessarily eating a ton, I was eating kind of like the same, maybe a little bit more than if I wasn't pregnant, but something completely changed in my third trimester. And if you watch my vlogs, you'll know, but I literally want to eat all day long. I eat a sandwich for lunch, then I eat a pear, and then I eat some chips, and then I eat a salad. And honestly, trying to be healthy in your third trimester is like the worst thing. Like I could never, I don't know how people do it. So eating a ton specifically in my third trimester was something I never expected to happen. The seventh thing that no one told me is the weird symptoms that can happen to your body. You always kind of hear about, you know, you gaining weight, your boobs getting bigger, stretch marks. I always assumed I'd get stretch marks. Well, the things that people don't tell you is that your immune system is so low. I honestly don't even know the reason for it. I remember reading it and I didn't care because I was dealing with so many symptoms in the beginning. But basically, because your immune system is so low, it increases the chances for weird things to happen to your body. So for instance, in my first trimester, I had a rash all over my body. I still don't even know what that rash was, but this is something that freaks me out. I had a rash in my first trimester. I looked it up. I read this study that went through all of these different pregnancies and basically said that if you have this particular rash, the chances of your baby being premature were like 80%. So I was freaking out. Like, what is this rash? I'm gonna have a preemie baby. So yeah, anxiety is real, but also the symptoms are so real, and I got a rash. I also got discharge in your third trimester is seriously a symptom, and that was gross. So yeah, dealing with things that you just don't expect. The eighth thing that no one told me is that I don't know what happens, but basically once you get pregnant, your body just says, oh, you don't need to use the restroom as much. Now, mind you, you pee all the time, literally all the time. You could have a sip of water and you pee like 3 drops. It is so annoying. You basically constantly have to feel like you have to pee, especially in your second and third trimester. When it comes to pooping or going number 2, whatever you want to call it, you go a lot less, and honestly, that's not a bad thing for me. It's just definitely a change. The ninth thing that no one told me, and that honestly was such a shock for me in my second trimester, is that your boobs obviously get huge. They get way bigger than before, but also something that no one told me was that your nipples get bigger and they get brown. And if you're someone like me who doesn't normally have brown nipples, it was like such a shock to see them turn colors. And I think that's because your baby comes out colorblind and they need to like find their food source, kind of like a, I don't know, like almost like an animalistic instinct or something. But yeah, your body just changes. You look a lot different naked, and it is a weird thing to go through. The 10th thing that no one told me, and that is something I'm dealing with right now at 39 weeks pregnant, is that your stomach seriously gets in the way. When I say your stomach gets in the way, I literally mean it gets in the way. I could be sitting on my bed with my laptop on my lap, and my stomach will accidentally, well, not accidentally, it will pause a video like on my trackpad on my laptop that I'm watching on YouTube. So it does a lot of weird things. I burnt my stomach on the stove before. You just, I don't know, sometimes you're unaware that it's there and it just gets in the way of everything. So that is it for this video. If you guys liked it, then press the thumbs up button below, and make sure to subscribe to my channel for new motherhood videos and videos on fashion and beauty and lifestyle and things like that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.